Hi, welcome back to another episode of Mental Override. If you clicked the link below, you decided to take an action. And that is the first step. You see, action is the antidote to fear. So here at Mental Override, I help coach you in overcoming fear and living intentionally. See, overcoming fear is a muscle. It's a strength that we build. It's something that we can exercise so that we can make the decisions that we're afraid to make and have the life that we want to have. So, as you saw in the short, I introduced you to All Talk. All Talk is a borderline pro line we have in the Red Deer Mountain Bike Park. It's something that was built by the group of us, the trail building crew in our club. And are you a serial wantrepreneur? Are you someone who talks? Are you all talk? Do you keep talking about what you're going to do? Do you keep telling everyone what your plans are, what you're going to do? Or are you someone who takes action towards those plans? So I want to share with you a couple stories today about taking action and what it did for me and what I saw in someone else's life. So the first story I want to share with you is a person that I knew who had a business idea. They had this idea of an online website that would basically teach people things about life, and it was kind of like an online school of wisdom. There are some other websites like it. But this person, when I met them, was really passionate and was constantly talking about what they were going to do. They were just so full and excited. And about 6 years later, I ran into the same person. I asked them, hey, how's your website going? How is this idea you have going? And their response was, well, it just needs a financial injection. We just need someone to believe in it and just put some money into it. And I asked them, well, what have you been doing? What actions have you been taking to get yourself financially closer to that, to get yourself closer to the goal, to making it happen? And the person really hadn't taken any. You see, they had put their future in someone else's hands. They were the wantrepreneur. They wanted it, but they didn't want to take the action necessary to have what they wanted to have the intention to make it happen. Perhaps a business needs a financial injection. Perhaps you need money to create certain things, but are you going after that money? Are you trying to get it yourself? Are you trying to make it happen? Are you looking for reasons, or are you looking for excuses? You see, this person kept falling back on their excuses, and they believed that something external was going to make it happen. And they're still in the same boat. It hasn't come to fruition. It hasn't become a reality for them. So I want to share with you a couple stories in my life that I did. When I was starting out as a carpenter, I started my own business, and it was kind of before the recession. I was a catch-all carpenter. I was someone who was willing to take on any sort of work because I was just desperate to get work when I was starting out, because I didn't have a client base or clientele, and I didn't have a specialization when it came to my carpentry work. And so I made a decision to take some action. I decided what it is that I want. And the biggest motivator for me in that was I had been married probably about 4 years. So my oldest is now 11. And so it was about 2 years before that. And my wife wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. And so my goal was to make that happen. We had a vision for how we wanted to do that. And so I knew I had to take some certain actions. So I did two things. One, I hired a financial coach. And two, I hired a business coach. And what these coaches did is they took my vision of the future and they helped show me the steps I had to take. And I was afraid. I was afraid to have my wife step back from her job and to be a full-time stay-at-home mom. So that I could earn enough so that we could have that life for ourselves. And what we did is I hired my financial coach about 2 years before we had kids. And, I told my wife, I got to figure this out first. I got to get us a plan, a way to do this. So the financial coach, what we did is we tracked my spending for an entire year. We saw all the Tim Hortons, we saw all the eating out, we saw all the subscriptions, and I realized where my money was going. It wasn't intentional. It wasn't being focused towards my goal. And so after a year, we reviewed how much more I would have to make in order for my wife to stay at home and be a stay-at-home mom. So it worked out to, I'll say, around $2,500, $3,000. So what I did is I got rid of all the things I could afford to get rid of. I started making my breakfasts at home. I stopped eating out for dinners. I started making fancy dinners at home instead. And I changed my actions. I changed my routine towards what I intended to have. The second step I did is I hired a business coach. And that business coach helped me to focus on specialization. You see, a catch-all carpenter, the clientele that you attract sometimes was people who are trying to squeeze the most out of you for the least amount of money. Now, that wasn't all my clients, but generally speaking, that was the experience I had. It's kind of like the experience of a repair shop versus a performance shop. If you take your car to a repair shop, people are always reluctant to spend the money because they get the same thing back just repaired. You go to a performance shop and people are excited to buy the new muffler, the new turbo, the new tune. They're excited because they get something new with their money. So what I decided to do is hire a business coach, and he advised me to specialize. He said, Adam, take what you love the best, take what you know, and start to specialize in it. And that changed my approach to business. It changed my approach to what I was doing. I bought t-shirts, I bought hoodies, I bought a new trailer, and I started to look the part of someone who specializes in what they do. From my military experience, I have a great attention to detail, and that translated into the quality of my work. And I had that quality being a catch-all, but I never leveraged it. I never leveraged it to find a clientele who was willing to pay for someone who could do it right. And when I changed my clientele and I changed what I was doing, I started to specialize in luxury garages. These garages were oversized. We'd build them start to finish. They'd have floor coatings, cabinets. And so I got a contract with a company to sell a particular type of cabinet for the garages. I learned how to do polyaspartic and epoxy floor coatings, the chip coatings. I learned how to tape mud and drywall. And I got an engineer to build these foundations from ground to the roof. And I could do it faster, cheaper, and higher quality than most of the industry around me. But bringing this all back, it was that I had a vision and a goal, and I had to create change and take action. Some of us are all talk. We talk about what we're going to do. We talk about our future. And instead of using that energy to take action towards what we want to have, we're wasting that energy talking about what we're going to do. I've seen people talk about the programs they're going to create, boast about how great it is, and then never finish it. And they've spent all that energy talking about what they're going to do and what they're going to provide for someone before it's even finished. And all that energy could have went towards creating that which they were going to provide for people. I could have talked about how the economy is really tough and how I was struggling as a carpenter and how there were no good clients. But the truth is, I had to change who I was. I had to change my focus. I had to take action to make sacrifices and discipline in order to have what I want. And in the end, I was able to slowly create my business. My wife was able to leave her job, and within 2 years, I was able to tell my wife, hey, I'm ready to have kids. Let's start focusing on getting our home ready for our children. Let's start focusing on you stepping back from work. And when we have these children, you'll be able to stay at home. And that was my commitment to her. So a lot of this was, I was afraid to do it. When we had kids, I was probably scared for the first couple of years because I didn't know how I was going to provide. But what I did is I listened to people with the experience. I'll take I have this saying where I say, I'll take the man with the experience over the man with the idea. Are people selling you ideas, or are they showing you how they lived, how they did it, what they did? I think that coaches are great ways to shortcut and great ways to propel yourself exponentially fast by paying for their experience, asking them how they did it and what they did. As I've said before, there's nothing new under the sun. Many people have done what it is you're trying to do. Many people have accomplished and become the type of person that can hold space for what they're trying to overcome. See, as we go through challenges, as life gives us difficulties and we struggle through things, it builds our capacity and our character to overcome fear. We become the type of person who can do the thing. So after refining my businesses, getting the hats, the jerseys, I felt different. I felt like more of a professional. I felt like someone who had high quality because I chose to take care of myself. That whole self-care that I've talked about, that self-care was also in the way I dressed, the way I changed my mindset, because what I surrounded myself with was a higher quality and a higher standard. And see, our standards will also determine our outcomes. Our standards are found in our acts of discipline, and these higher standards open new doors for you. It gives you capacity, it grows your ability to overcome fear and make choices. So like today in the drop at All Talk, are you all talk? Are you a victim of your circumstances, or are you speaking life into action? Are you speaking actions about the steps you're going to take and then taking them? Are you talking about how you're doing it right now? My challenge to you is consider what you're talking about. Consider how you speak to yourself. Consider what you're being intentional about, and make the choice to take an action in the direction. It may be a small step. It might be the first bite of eating the entire elephant, but it's day one or one day. And I'll always have space and appreciation and applause for people, no matter where they at, if they take a step forward, because you'll never get any movement in any trajectory unless you take that first step. You might not feel ready. You probably won't feel ready, but that's what action is. It's taking a leap of faith. It's believing in what can be and taking that invisible step to see what will happen, and then moving forward through that. So I want to thank all of you for subscribing, for tuning in, for taking that leap of action to click the link below and listen to today's talk. We hit 50 subscribers, so I think I'm allowed to do lives now on YouTube. So I'm going to consider doing that. If you guys are interested in perhaps a live where you can ask questions or have conversations, comment that below. We might give that a try moving forward. We're here in September. Things are getting quite nice. The leaves are all changing. Things are getting beautiful, and we're into a new season. And for me, this season, we start to put the bike away and we start getting into hunting. So I hope to put a little bit of that on the channel to show you what mental override is like when it comes to hunting, doing difficult things to expand and grow our capacity. I've had a couple pond hunts. I like to duck hunt over water, and it's quite difficult getting the kayak out there and the decoys, finding the spots and enduring the weather. But I know that it tests my mettle, and I have a talk about testing your mettle, and I know that it challenges me and helps me to grow my capacity to overcome fear in other areas of my life. So I hope these stories have encouraged you, and I hope that the information here is helping you grow and expand your capacity to overcome fear and live intentionally. Thanks, and I'll see you again.